Hi Year 5, today we're going to be doing a recap of mixed numbers and improper fractions, and today I've got my glamorous teaching assistants from Year 5 with me as well. So let's remind ourselves what they are first of all. So what is an improper fraction?
An improper fraction is a fraction where the numerator is larger than the denominator, like 17 quarters. A mixed number is a whole number alongside a fraction like 1 3/4.
So here we have 1 whole and 1 half, and we can write that as a mixed number. We have the whole number 1 next to the fraction 1 half. And if we want to write that as an improper fraction, we need to write it as one single fraction. So I want to know how many halves are in 1 1/2. So you can see here, I've got 1, 2, 3 halves, which equal 1 1/2. Okay, this time we have 2 whole ones and 2/3. So our mixed number this time is 2 and 2/3. We've got that whole number alongside the fraction. So I want to write it as an improper fraction. So I want to know how many thirds I have altogether. So I start off with my whole number. So 1 whole one is equal to 3 thirds. But I don't just have 1 whole one, I've got 2 whole ones. So my 2 whole ones altogether make 6 thirds. So my 2 can be written as 6 thirds. But we don't just have 2 whole ones, we've got 2 whole ones and an additional 2 thirds. So I need to add on that extra 2 thirds on the end. So altogether we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 thirds. So the mixed number 2 and 2/3 can be written as an improper fraction as 8 thirds. So this time our mixed number is 3 and 3/4 this time. And to write that as an improper fraction, I want to know this time how many quarters I have got altogether. So I start off with my whole number, 3, and if I think about what 1 whole is in quarters, I can remind myself that 1 whole is the same as 1, 2, 3, 4 quarters. But I've not just got 1 whole, I've got 3 wholes. So my 3 is 12 quarters altogether. Then I need to add on my extra 3/4 that I've got here. And that should give me a total of 15 quarters altogether. So our 3 was 12 quarters, then we add on the extra 3/4 that we had, and that gave us a total of 15 quarters. So to convert between a mixed number to an improper fraction, you first of all need to look at your denominator. Now this time we've got 2 and 4/9, so I want to know how many ninths I have got altogether. So first of all, we have a look at our whole number, and this time we've got 2 whole ones. So if I think about what 1 whole would be in ninths, I can remind myself that 9 ninths would equal 1 whole. But we've got 2 whole ones, so 2 whole ones would be another lot of 9 ninths, which would equal 18 ninths altogether. But our mixed number is 2 whole ones and 4 ninths. So I need to add on those extra 4 ninths to my 18 ninths, which gives us 22 ninths altogether. And to go from an improper fraction back to a mixed number, this time I've got 16 sevenths. So I want to write it as a whole number alongside a fraction to have it as a mixed number. So to get my whole number, I need to think about how many wholes would fit in to 16 sevenths. And I can remind myself that 1 whole one would be 7 sevenths. I've got 16 sevenths, so I need to think about my 7 times table. 1 whole one would be 7 sevenths. 2 whole ones would be 14 sevenths. 3 whole ones would be 21 sevenths, and that's too many because I've only got 16 sevenths. So I know I've got 2 whole ones, which equals 14 sevenths. And then I count up to how many I have got. So 2 whole ones is 14 sevenths, so I've got an additional 2 sevenths to make it up to 16 sevenths. So 16 sevenths is 2 whole ones and 2 sevenths. So I really hope that helped to remind you about what mixed numbers and improper fractions are. Have a go at converting between them. Don't worry if you're still struggling, we can recap them when we eventually get back to school. See you soon.